it feels smoother off the line, but it still has that little like aggressiveness, which I think this is good. Yeah, that's definitely smoother. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a quick comparison of my experience getting my truck KDMax tuned. I previously had the OVTune on my truck. I have a couple videos about that if you want to go ahead and watch those first. But this video is going to be a comparison between the OVTune and the KDMax tune. So stick around. I have a lot of thoughts on the difference between the two tunes. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. So I got my truck tuned by a guy named Victor. He is a licensed certified KDMax tuner, and he's operating under a legitimate business. So this was a much better and much safer, less kind of like nerve-wracking tuning experience than when I got my truck OV-tuned. So if you are in the Tampa Bay area, or if you're in Florida, specifically, you know, Central and South Florida, hit this guy up. I'm gonna leave all of his information in the video here as well as in the description. Hit him up, let him know that you want to get your truck tuned and you saw Knight Tacoma's video, and he will probably hook you up with a little bit of a discount. So if you're looking to get your truck tuned, which I do highly recommend, hit him up and he'll get you tuned. That said, I did want to mention in this video, because I got a few comments on my previous two videos, I am not in any way affiliated with these tuners. I'm not affiliated with KDMax, not affiliated with OVTune. I am honestly just giving my honest opinions on the tunes and giving my personal experience on the tunes. Not everybody's truck that gets tuned is going to react the same way that mine did, and not everyone's going to notice the same differences between the tunes or between stock and tune that I did. So I just wanted to put that out there because I had a few people, you know, kind of commenting that I am just a salesman for the tunes and that the tunes are actually garbage. I disagree completely. I am not a salesman in any way for these tunes. I'm just giving my personal experience, my honest opinion on what I think about these tunes. Like I said, I'm not affiliated with any of the tuners or anything like that. I don't get any benefit personally out of getting my truck tuned and pushing for other people to get tuned. I get no benefit. I have no affiliate deals with these guys. This is just my experience with these tunes and my opinion on these tunes. So that said, if you are on this video looking for a quick answer, should you get the KDMax or the OVTune? In my personal opinion, I like the KDMax tune better, and I will go into detail a little bit later in the video, but if you want that short answer, I would go ahead and get the KDMax tune. I think it's a little bit smoother, it operates a little bit better, and it feels more natural on the truck than the OVTune did, in my opinion. So if you're looking for that quick answer, I would definitely go KDMax. I think it's also easier to find a KDMax tuner versus getting an OV tuner, and the guys that are doing the KDMax tunes, they're all, you know, some sort of licensed or certified to be giving these tunes. There's a link in the description of the video with a map that shows all of the KDMax tuners. I got that from their Facebook account. So go ahead and check out that map and see if there's a KDMax tuner by you, and they'll get you hooked up. All right, so if I had to summarize in one word the difference between KDMax and OVTune, I would say that the KDMax is smooth. It's a lot smoother than the OVTune, and it's significantly smoother than stock when it comes to shifting, which is the main thing that these tunes are actually trying to solve. Honestly, when I first got the KDMax, I noticed right away that something was different. It was shifting a little bit smoother. I honestly at some points couldn't even tell that the truck was shifting because it was just smooth. And I believe when I got the OVTune, I felt that that was a little bit smoother than the stock. However, I think with OVTune, you know, it's just less likely to change gears. It holds the gears longer, but it'll still let you get up in RPMs for whatever gear that you're in. With the KDMax, when you are accelerating, it will shift. But it's honestly kind of hard to tell when it shifts because it keeps you in a very stable RPM range, so it doesn't shoot up the RPMs when the gear switches. It just kind of somehow keeps you in that same range. So, you know, when you're doing a shift in the KDMax, I've noticed that the most it'll, you know, fluctuate is around 200 to 300, maybe 500 RPMs, depending on how much you're stepping on it. Whereas with the OVTune, when it's changing gears, you still have a pretty decent, 500 to 1000 RPM difference between when it shifts and you're accelerating. When it comes to the KDMax tune, honestly, it kind of fights you a little bit to keep you in a more stable RPM range. So when you're stepping on the pedal, you're giving it some pressure. You almost feel like some resistance. The truck is still accelerating, don't get me wrong, but you can tell that there's something kind of like holding it back a little bit from, dropping a gear and shooting up the RPMs and, hammering down, for lack of a better term. So overall, I think the KDMax is a better driving experience if you're, more used to normal vehicles where you're not dropping gears like that and whatnot to accelerate. I honestly really enjoy the driving experience with the KDMax tune, both in the city and on the highway. It's just a really smooth driving experience. It's a lot smoother than stock, and it's definitely smoother than the OVTune in my opinion. As far as a difference in power and acceleration, I don't think there's a huge difference. Maybe my butt dyno is not that great, but I haven't really noticed a difference. Even, the stock and the OVTune, I didn't notice really a power difference. And potentially that's just me not really caring about that aspect of the tune. I know some people are looking for that performance difference. They want a faster truck. They want it to accelerate more aggressively. For me, I purely wanted the tunes just to fix the shifting issues, because as I'm putting more weight on my truck, those shifting issues get exaggerated a bunch. So yeah, like I said, as far as the power difference, I don't really notice a huge difference. Maybe with the acceleration it gets up and goes a little bit quicker, and maybe that's to do with horsepower or torque increase, or maybe that's just the throttle mapping. I don't really know, but I wouldn't get the tune personally for performance only. I'd get it just to fix the shifting. All right, so as far as gas mileage, if you watched my previous 2 videos about tunes, specifically the OV tunes, you would know that I got a pretty solid MPG boost going from stock to OV tune. It's city driving, I got around 2 to 3 miles per gallon, potentially even more depending on the driving conditions. However, with the highway driving, I didn't really see much of a difference. I was still getting around 14 to 15 miles per gallon, depending on the speed I was going. So with the OVTune, it really shines in the city driving. That gave me a solid boost. Like I said, 2 to 3 miles per gallon, maybe a little bit more. But with highway driving, I didn't see really any difference. That said, with the KDMax tune, it's a little bit interesting to me because city driving is slightly worse than the OVTune, so maybe 1 to 2 miles per gallon worse, and I think that's to do with it holding the gears a little bit longer. I don't know exactly, but when I step on the pedal with the KDMax tune, the current fuel economy bar that's on the truck, I see it dip a lot harder than it did with the OVTune. However, that said, with the KDMax tune, in certain driving conditions, I can get just as good gas mileage or better than the OVTune. So you'll see a little bit later on in this video while I'm driving around that I was getting really good gas mileage. So I think with the KDMax tune, if you're in really start and stop, stop and go traffic, that it's going to be a little bit worse than the OVTune or stock. However, if you're kind of just smooth city driving with the occasional light every now and then, I think it has the potential to be just as good as the OVTune, if not better. So it's really interesting in that aspect. With highway driving, however, I did notice an increase in the KDMax over both stock and OVTune. So with the KDMax tune, it being a lot smoother on the highway and being able to overtake cars without it dropping a gear, I think that's helped a lot with the gas mileage. So, on the highway, I can get up to 16, 17 miles per gallon. I think overall the truck wants to be at 15 miles per gallon, regardless of how you tune it. And I think that, that's just the engine itself, not necessarily a transmission thing. So I've been driving with this tune for about a month, and honestly, it's been great for me. Living in Florida, the roads are pretty flat here. I'm not going up and down hills constantly. The biggest hills that I'm going over are just overpasses on the highway. But I think the KDMax has reacted really well to driving around. I think going up overpasses, it really shines there because it'll still accelerate going uphill without dropping a gear, which is just awesome. That said, I did recently take a trip up to the Georgia and Tennessee mountains, and honestly I was really impressed with how the truck drove in the mountains. You know, going up those steeper grades, same thing, you know, it kind of stayed in a pretty good range and allowed me to either maintain speed or accelerate without dropping a gear too much. You know, I think overall the truck did really well. I've been up in the mountains before with my stock truck, and I hated driving because you know, the RPMs are just shooting up and down, and it just wasn't a pleasant driving experience. But with the KDMax tune specifically, it was honestly fine driving in the mountains. Like, it felt like a normal vehicle, and you know, I was really happy with how it performed driving through the mountains and, you know, maintaining and speeding up on those grades. All right, so right now I am driving around town. Hoping you guys can get a good look of my tachometer here and my speedometer, and maybe kind of do a little bit of a comparison to you guys driving around, if you can tell a difference in maybe the shift points or the RPMs at certain speeds and whatnot. So I'm just going to be doing a little bit of driving around, and hopefully you guys can see the difference here. But as you can see, I'm getting some pretty great miles per gallon here, and at the moment I'm just on a kind of straight road going around 45-50 miles an hour. So this is really a sweet spot for the Tacoma as far as miles per gallon is concerned. So that's why you can see here I'm at like 19.4, and I'm basically hypermiling at this point, just getting really good gas mileage. All right, so now I'm coming up to a stoplight. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm obviously going to stop, and then I will show you guys my acceleration, just a normal acceleration. I'm not gonna give it the beans or anything like that. We'll just accelerate and kind of see what happens. So I'm at 0, and then so to me, that acceleration feels pretty smooth. You know, I can hear the change in gears, you know, now that I don't have the radio on or anything, but I can't really feel it. It doesn't kind of really like buck or anything, and there's really no like variation in the tachometer as I'm speeding up. All right, and then once again here in acceleration, just following the cars in front of me. Just accelerating super smooth, and then I'm kind of flattening out here on speed. We have a little bit of a hill here. I'm not sure if it's enough anyway to be able to kind of show you, but let's see. I'll speed up as I'm going up the hill, and you can see that it's not downshifting at all. It's just kind of staying in that gear and giving it a little bit more power to get up the hill. All right, so I'm about to merge onto the highway, so I'm gonna show you guys the acceleration, how well it accelerates without actually like speeding up. All right, so here we go on the highway. Haven't dropped a gear, just speeding up pretty smooth. So as you can see here, I sped up to 70 and we're almost up to 80 now. And look at the tachometer, it never went over like 3,000 RPM. It was just super smooth the whole way through. And I wasn't speeding up really slowly, like that was a pretty good acceleration there. Obviously I can go faster, so say I'm at 70 miles an hour and I really want to get up to 80 quick, I can actually stomp on it and make it go, and it gets there really quickly. So I think overall, you know, if you have bigger tires on your truck and you have more weight and whatnot, I definitely would recommend going and getting tuned. As far as OVTune versus KDMax, personally, I'm going to recommend KDMax just because I think it's a little bit smoother. It's been more pleasant of a driving experience for me over the OVTune. However, that said, if you have a guy near you that for whatever reason only does OVTune, or if you want to go OVTune because it's like significantly cheaper than KDMax, I'd say go for it, try it out. I think you can't really go wrong with either of the tunes. However, I think a lot of people going from stock to OVTune maybe didn't see as big of a difference as they thought they would, whereas most people that are going from stock to KDMax are seeing a difference between, and you know, they're a little bit more happy with the KDMax. All right guys, so that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions or anything, you know, any comments on the tunes, feel free to drop a comment below. I try to get back to everyone, so if you have any questions, ask them. If you just want to say what's up, say what's up, and I'll get back to you. I really try to respond to everyone, so drop a comment below, let me know what you think. Make sure to hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon. And like I said, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next one.